And all of a sudden, he just gets down on verse 26. If anyone considers himself religious and yet does not keep a tight rein on his tongue, he deceives himself, and his religion is worthless. Like, God, why would you talk about the tongue? Right at the end, right? Like, what's the point? He talks about posture, obedience, identity, not understanding God's freedom, his love. Because your tongue and your heart are linked, Matthew states what? That out of the abundance of your
heart,
the mouth speaks. He's like, if you don't have a tight control on your heart, you're worthless, dude. Your religion is worthless. I don't care how many prayers you pray, how many times you say you attend a rock. Proverbs 28:6 says, a fool follows his heart. And Jeremiah talks about the heart is deceitfully wicked. The Bible does never call. That's one of the worst advice you can give anyone. Follow your heart. No, lead your heart. Lead your heart. Hebrews says that Jesus learned obedience through discipline, that he had to learn it. Like, what? Jesus, you're perfect. He was 100% human. My heart almost led me right out of here. I hear gunshots, I'm gone, man. That's my hood reaction. I was being very practical in that manner. I'm sorry, I should have been extravagant. Like, y'all, set out the room, let's be safe. But what's the point in all these trials? It comes right down to this, guys. This is the heart of the matter. The last couple verses. Next slide, Josh. Religion that our God and our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this. To 1, look after orphans. 2, look after widows in distress. And to 3, keep yourself from being polluted by the world. O-W-N. Own. God, why is this what you want? What's the whole point? What is it about orphans? Luke, when Jesus is about to leave, he promises his disciples something. He goes, my Father will not leave you as orphans. Because when we look at all this, why are we going through trials? Why are we going through temptations? Why are we being called to this extravagant life? It's because we're literally being called to become Jesus. He promises, I will not leave you alone. You are my children, I will never leave you. So, in extension of that, why don't you guys take care of children, my children? And then you guys talk about widows, right? Why would God have a heart for widows? Because he has a heart for marriage. There's 2 men that I know in this room. One who is separated from his wife, and his wife is doing who knows what with who knows where, right? And yet this man is committed to her because he's committed to marriage. It's not practical. People are telling him, get a divorce. Just go. Cut it loose. Cut her loose. She's gone. But yet God has promised him she's coming back. It may not be when you think it is, but she's going to come back. That is an extravagant type of love. Where he gets it. He goes, Dad, you're not going to leave me an orphan, first and foremost. Second of all, I'm not going to leave my wife a widow. I'm going to take care of her even though she's not with me. And then there's another man who sleeps on my couch every night. 11 o'clock sharp. Because he flew his fiancée in from the Philippines. And because he wants to protect her reputation, her purity, her integrity, he sleeps on my couch. And it's like, well, you could just sleep in your own home with your fiancée who you haven't seen in like 8-9 months. But you're coming to my house to protect her? It's because he has a heart for marriage. And lastly, that's what Jesus is saying. He's like, I know you guys are in this world, but don't be of this world. Don't be practical. Because God wears this shirt, guys. We may wear all these other shirts, but we can be sure that God wears this shirt. My wife rocks. He thinks you rock. So much. I don't get it. God, why do you think I rock? When people ask me, Ehren, you wear that shirt all the time, I see you. You don't even have a girlfriend. That's not practical. I said, hold on, dog. Wait a minute, don't cut me down. short enough. I'm trying to be extravagant. Because that's who God is. God is extravagant, guys. And that's basically why he says, the point of this is that I own you. Last slide. The point, it points back to him. It is impossible to lead the life that God has called me into unless I first receive his extravagance, his very son. When we talk about trials, temptations, the things we go through as Christians, it's impossible. That's what we just started off with, guys. It's impossible to lead extravagance. But God is extravagant, right? God is fine wine. I'll prove it to you. At the Garden of Gethsemane, right? We all know what happened. He bled blood. And he sweated it. He bled blood. He sweated out blood. He bled his own blood. But Gethsemane means the place of pressing. Jesus is fine wine. When Jesus goes, I came that you may have life and life in abundance, he wasn't talking about riches, guys. Jesus is extravagant cheesecake. When God's like, you know what? I have one son. I'm going to send him down to be empty from his posture. He's going to be 100% obedient to me. He's going to have identity in me. He's going to understand my laws. And he's going to keep a tight rein on his tongue and on his heart. The whole point of that was to show us that he's an extravagant God. That he loves us extravagantly. And because out of that, that's how we can endure trials. We're going to wrap it up by going back to James chapter 1, verse 2. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds. Consider it pure joy. Where does joy come from? Psalm 116 says, fullness of joy is in your presence, and at the right hand is pleasures forevermore. Fullness of joy comes in God's presence, guys. You can have it even when you're in trials, when you're in temptations. The trip is that God is making us more like his son, and that sucks sometimes, honestly. It feels like vinegar. But this is what's getting me through it, is that if he's making me more like his son, that means he's expressing the fullness of his love for his son on me. And that's why I can have joy. So Father God, we thank you for tonight, for your word. Man, you wreck it in James. You touch so many bases in our lives. We pray that your spirit goes forward and does what it needs to do. Lord, we thank you that you are committed to these people in this room more than I'm committed, more than any of these leaders in here are committed, God, that you love each person so over and abundantly and extravagantly, God. I pray that you just make your grace and mercy known, God. Turn hearts with cords of kindness, Lord, as it says in your word. And we thank you for all the craziness of this night. We praise you for who you are, not because of our circumstances, God, not because they're good or bad, but because you are, that you say that you are, that you am, that I am, that I am, that I am, God. We just thank you in your name. Amen. Amen. All right, guys. I know some of y'all gonna go to the bathroom and check that thing out, but the rest of y'all can jump into your discussion.
I'll be back in 5 minutes.